Hey, Weekend Necessary. I have some stuff to show you here that will help improve what you're doing with your hands. It's not that what you're doing is incorrect, it's just that there is room for improvement. So I just want to show you some stuff that you can check out and, give it a shot and see what you think of it. What I'm going to be teaching you is the middle finger fulcrum, which gives the sticks complete freedom to move just like this. And you can do like a continual bounce with very little effort because it's exactly like bouncing a basketball. And then there's the Molar Technique using the middle finger fulcrum. Just this effortless, fluid thing. So, the middle finger fulcrum minimizes effort, and as you can probably also see, it minimizes friction, next to nothing. So, it just makes everything that you do a lot easier. Okay, so there are 4 different things I can show you with this way of holding on to the sticks. And the first of which is to just make the hand look like this on the stick. So that just gets you started so that the rest of this kind of falls in place with a little bit less effort. It's fingertips only. It's very loose. There's a big space in there. Just like that. Let's see. I'm also, speaking of the space, I'm also not holding the stick up into the hand at all because this takes away the stick's freedom to move, which means every movement I want the stick to make, I have to do all of it. Versus the stick doing a lot of it for me. So that's aspect number 1. Aspect number 2 is to keep the fingertips of the middle, ring, and pinky fingers on the stick at all times, with no exceptions. The middle ring and pinky fingers work together as a team to help with every single stick movement that you can possibly make, regardless of which way your hand is turned, so that, regardless if it's finger control or wrist strokes, whatever it might be, the middle ring and pinky fingers help with everything, and they're always in contact with the stick. They don't come off for anything. Also, you can see these as a single unit because of how they work together. So it's like having one big finger, individually, but it's especially important to keep the pinky on the stick because the pinky is the second strongest finger. It also has the second largest muscle for fingers. I'm touching it right now with the butt end of the stick. So the thumb has the largest, and the pinky has the second largest. So if you use the team analogy again, if the pinky is off the stick somehow, whichever way, sometimes it's like that, sometimes it's just like that, but whatever, you can basically say that the second you can basically say that the second strongest team member is kind of on the bench. You're not benefiting from that second strongest team member. This is now strongest, and the rest, I don't know what the order is, but anyway, so you can kind of test and experience for yourself if you want what the importance is of the pinky finger by playing with it off for a while on purpose for maybe a half an hour to an hour, and then play with it on for another half an hour to an hour, or start with it on and go to it off or whatever. But you can really feel a difference after a while with it on versus with it off. So just do everything you know how to do, whatever that might be. You know, play with it if you want. You don't have to, but you can also just take my word for it if you like. That's okay. So one more thing I can mention with the pinky is, and this can give the impression that the pinky is not as important as I just said it is, but it's very easy to be playing with the pinky off the stick and you don't realize it. It's very easy to think that it's on, but it's actually off. So it's another possible benefit to practicing feeling the difference between pinky on and pinky off. Okay, so aspect number 3. For the middle finger fulcrum only, this aspect is only for the middle finger fulcrum. Fulcrum is don't use the index finger at all. So you can see if I use the index finger, so now I'm doing all the work if I have the index finger in the grip. I can't get any help from the stick with that. Can't get this. Doesn't mean to take the index finger off the stick. If it's off the stick, got no control. Aspect number 4 is very important to go to quickly here from that, because aspect number 4 is very important to make sure you're doing so that the index finger can be relaxed and this doesn't fall apart. And that's by keeping the thumb centered on the stick. What I mean is not off center at all. If it's centered, the thumb can be relaxed. The index finger can be completely dead, not in use at all, and this won't fall apart. If the thumb is below center, and I stay the way I just was, the thumb comes right off the stick. And the way that I just was is a gentle hold, very relaxed. If it's above center, I can be completely relaxed, but now the stick is not able to move. It can't do this. Oops. Or I can't do that. So it's very important to keep the thumb centered, and when it's on center, everything just works, doesn't fall apart. You know, it doesn't do this. The stick is not going to be restricted. Just works. Something I discovered recently is kind of interesting to me. It still kind of blows my mind a little bit. So if you watch the stick or listen to it, maybe, or just watch, it does that with this little gentle hit. And then I'm doing my normal method of holding onto the stick. So, yeah, imagine my reaction the first time I discovered that. The jaw on the floor kind of blew my mind. It never occurred to me that the thumb is almost as relaxed as the index finger. So, yeah, that's kind of how this works. And so I just keep going and I get a continual bounce, I can do like this and get the Molar Technique. Anyway, I'm gonna also talk about something called the optimal balance point of the stick, because it's very important to be on the optimal balance point of the stick, because if I'm not, which I'm not right now, then there's just more stick to work with, more weight, it's more work. It's not going to bounce as much. So it doesn't mean that I'm at the actual balance point, which is somewhere around, ooh. So if I stay at the optimal balance point, or the actual, if I'm at the actual balance point, it's got this weird feeling. It's just, I don't know. So the optimal balance point is just where it feels the best, the most balanced. And if you can do this, regardless of where you are on the stick, if you can do this, then you can use this to find the optimal balance point by just trying different spots on the stick. And once you find it, just kind of, you know, make a mental note of it or something. You don't have to make a big deal out of it, because it doesn't mean that if you're not at the optimal balance point that you're doing something incorrectly or something. I don't believe in saying that anything is incorrect or even correct. I just think, you know, there either is room for improvement with something or there isn't, and you're either doing something that is, whether, you know, I don't know, just like this, it's minimizing the effort. So this is the easiest way I know of to make the stick move. If I do it any other way, it's just going to be more work than I otherwise could be doing. So if I try to, you know, include the index finger, then it's just more work than I could otherwise be doing. Doesn't mean that this is incorrect. So just a matter of choice, choosing what works best for you. So anyway, there are times where you will use the index finger in the grip, and one of those is when you're like gonna play really quietly or something and you want to maintain control of the stick so that it doesn't kind of get away from you and hit the surface harder than you're intending to or than you'd like. So if you need to play quietly for something and you want to go maintain control around the whole setup, include the index finger. You don't have to squeeze tight, just include it. And again, from this to let's see. So from this to index finger, very subtle change, but that's about all it changes. And you know, so here's a quick simple demonstration of why it works. I can still choose with this ridiculous stick height for quiet playing. No one would ever use this, but I'm missing a lot of hits. But versus the middle finger fulcrum, there's nothing I can do about that. The same thing happens at a very quiet level. It's just harder to hear the difference. Almost impossible when I have good control over the... Because right now I'm dealing with, compared to, so when playing quietly, it's good to be in control of every little millimeter of movement. The other thing that requires the index finger is for finger control. Finger control is done like, so basically I'm doing this. I'm just touching the sticks. I'm touching the fingers together here. I'm not pressing them together, and it just becomes this. There is a little bit of index finger being used, just a little bit. So they all kind of work together. So it just kind of looks like that. And you have to be like this. Can't be like this, because then gravity kind of tells you what you got to do to make the stick go straight up and down. So obey gravity. And those are fast twitch muscles, so you can use finger control for, inserting some fast stuff when you're doing, like, I don't know, you don't want to, like, do stuff for too long. You don't want to overwork the fingers. You don't want to play long things, like constantly trying to go super fast for a very, very, very long time. But when you're in the practice mode, when you're trying to develop your muscles or something, which is a good thing to do, try to develop your muscles, then you can go for a while. Give yourself a good workout, but be careful. Pay attention to how things feel. If you have any pain at all, ever, for any reason, for anything that you're doing, just stop and check it out. Maybe ask for help, whatever. Just never let pain happen. Because if it does, there is something to change. So, yep, finger control is very useful. So, like, you can do some stuff on the ride cymbal, like, just different little interjections, or like just stuff. Kind of looks like I'm using my wrist, doesn't it? But I'm not. It's just the natural, I don't know, it's physics doing whatever it does to it. Now this is the using the wrist, so that's not finger control. It's just thumb on top using the wrist. It's safe to do this once in a while, but don't do all of your playing this way. That can hurt the wrist. But it's okay to do this a little bit here and there. Like on the ride cymbal, you might do this once a little bit, maybe. So fingers, wrist, wrist, fingers kind of hand in between this position and this position. I like to do it this way because it reduces the effort, makes my index finger a little bit more relaxed too. So my hand position right now is between the American position and the French position. I can still use finger control in this hybrid position, but it just reduces the effort and lets my index finger be a little bit more relaxed. Now, the next thing that uses the index finger is the double stroke roll. Of course, I only have one hand free, so I can't show you the double stroke roll in action, but I probably wouldn't try either if I had both hands free. My left hand is pretty it's pretty handicapped on the double stroke roll right now, but it's just a matter of muscle development, so I gotta work on that. But anyway, my right hand it's okay. But you want to have the index finger included when you start doing the double stroke roll, because you want the middle ring and pinky fingers to be free, to be fully utilized. And it's a bounce on the first stroke and they're two controlled strokes, right, left, left. It's not two bounces. So it's like the first, but this kind of sounds like I'm contradicting that, but the first of the two is kind of a bounce. something kind of like that, sort of. And then there's the second one is, you can see the second one it's using the fingers to snap the stick, but it's also a wrist stroke. It's like, and this is like an exercise as well. You can, if you're going to do the double stroke roll and if you're going to work on it, try to work on accenting the second stroke very powerfully with the middle ring and pinky fingers. Just try to so it's this, but it goes from this position here to like a it's hard to explain. You kind of have to do, it's well, it's like a quick fast shuffle thing. So a real shuffle, I can use the middle finger fulcrum and just be very relaxed. But with the double stroke roll, using that kind of concept, index finger is in use all the way, and I'm trying to snap that second in, and then I can go. And after a while, as the muscles get stronger and stronger, the hand starts to becomes more fluid. It's not something to work toward, it's something to let happen when it does. And it will, if you work on this very diligently to get the muscles developed. And that's half the reason to accent the second stroke, is to develop the muscles for the middle ring and pinky fingers so that you can control the double stroke roll with greater ease. You would like to, the best thing to do is work toward being able to control either of those two strokes per hand, whether it's the first or the second. And the other benefit of accenting the second stroke for this exercise thing is when you get up to full speed, both strokes can be the same volume level, the same, they hit the same. Versus if you don't do that, then they will, the two strokes per hand will be more right, right, left, left, right, right, left, I mean evenly spaced, but right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. If you had a video playing in slow motion of your double stroke roll, it would be something like that compared to right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, that's the end result of working on that. And when it gets to a point, as I'm finding with my right hand, I've done a lot of videos like this, and I kind of demonstrate the double stroke roll a lot, so it's gotten my right hand quite a bit ahead of my left. But it's getting to the point now where I can kind of get two controlled strokes with a lot less effort than I ever thought possible. Feels like I'm doing 2 bounces, but I'm not. If I get more warmed up than I am now, it'll be even easier for me to demonstrate what I'm talking about, but I'm trying to go slower so that it's a very important rudiment to work on, because almost every rudiment contains at least one double in it. So you got a right-right or a left-left in almost every rudiment. So when you got this mastered, which can take several weeks, but when you got this mastered, I still don't, but a couple of times there I got two strokes. They were so close together. I mean, it was just amazingly fast. How, to me anyways, it was amazing to me how close I was able to get those two strokes to happen together in time. but you don't need rebound. What rebound does, though, is it lets you go past the maximum possible speed that's possible with no rebound. Because with no rebound, you have to do all of the work to make the stick move, which means it's going to take more time to get to the ability to execute the second stroke. So it's going to be it's going to take more time for you to be able. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So when it bounces, the stick is ready, just like that, so that you can immediately get to the point of being able to execute the second stroke. So then both strokes can be much closer together in time. They can happen very quickly. The second one can be, instead of being in the space of time, as illustrated this way, instead of being one here and one here, it can be one here and then one here, because it's going to be possible to execute that second stroke much sooner due to the stick bouncing and getting into position, so that you don't have to wait. You don't have to do any work to make the stick in that position to get the second stroke to snap into the hand. Wow. Sorry, laughing at I'm impressed. Oh, I really gotta get my left hand up to this level. Jeez. Oh, man. So I got half the double stroke roll working now. But anyway, wow, I'm sorry. I took a lot more time on that than I probably should have. But anyway, so from there, from the end of that little double stroke roll demonstration, it was the third and final thing to show that uses the index finger in the grip. And the main purpose of that for finger control and the double stroke roll is to free the middle ring and pinky fingers up so that they are fully utilized for what they do for either finger control or the double stroke roll. Okay, now I want to show and teach the Molar Technique. I'm not entirely sure. I should watch your video for a few more seconds. Or again, rather, just to see if you're doing the Molar Technique at all. Because if you are, then what I can do is say something a little different while I'm teaching it. Let's see. Well, I think you are. A little bit. Okay, I'll pause it. I probably could watch a little longer, but basically the motion is just this thing. I'll leave it plugged in. I think my battery was awfully low before I started, so don't want to take any chances. Okay, so I've got a good take going here. So in case you're wondering about the audio changing so suddenly, I got the phone like pretty much almost touching my face so that I can get the shot to be better. And the microphone's sort of in my shoulder. Anyway, so yeah, it's just this thing. But as it pertains to this lesson, if you will, it can be a matter of kind of relearning the Molar Technique so that you can do it with the middle finger fulcrum working as it does, so that you just have this nice, so it's just kind of, so if you can get the continual bounce with the middle finger fulcrum going, then you can just kind of work toward bringing the Molar Technique right into it. In fact, if you're doing the continual bounce and you start like wanting to have a beat, like this might happen naturally. And this whole thing is, everything that I've been showing is all just a very natural approach. There's nothing being forced. Everything is just being allowed to happen that should happen naturally. But the problem with some of us, including me, is we have to be told these things before we're letting them happen. It's kind of funny, but anyway, it's funny to me. It's like, if this is so natural, then, you know, why is it so difficult sometimes? I don't know. So anyway. So yeah, it's just a little whip motion. Got this flow to it. The end of the whip flow, the end of the flow of this whip motion ends at the tip of the stick. Or if at the end of my hand. Or if I had a whip or a rope or a chain or something, then the flow would just keep going to the very, very end of that thing. So, and you know, because it's so free to move, this just has this wonderfully effortless feeling to it. And as the muscles get stronger and stronger in the wrist and the arm and whatnot, you can go faster and faster and faster, and, you know, with more power. And so, like, you can go your maximum possible speed, whatever that might be, without a ton of effort. You know, whatever the limit is of your current strength, you can go there, and it won't be a ton of work. Like if I include the index finger, or, you know, hold the stick in some manner that doesn't let it move so freely, like index finger in there, or like stick up into the hand or something, and I do the Molar Technique, that's a lot of work. It's almost at a ridiculous level, especially as I try to go faster and hit harder, etc. You know, it's just a lot of work. If I kept going for the next minute or 2 minutes, I'd be worn out. Well, I mean, not for the rest of the day, but but it would be. You can also hear it in the stick. You can hear some tone. Compared to, especially if I have more of my hand on it. So, yeah. Oh, and also, you'll notice the stick naturally rotates. It's nothing to do, nothing that you can do about it. It's just what it does. It's not rotating because I'm doing a continual bounce. It's just I'm doing a continual bounce so that you can see the stick rotating, because I could do one bounce. Well, you can still see it moving. So, can't see the logo anymore. Yeah, I could do it that way too. Okay. So anyway, yeah. You'll see that and go, whoa. I've seen that question before, so I just wanted to make sure you didn't have the same question that has been asked, why the stick does this and if there's a way to stop it. No, if you did stop it, then it would be due to holding the stick tightly so that it doesn't move. So I can prevent I can keep the logo right there. As you can see, this is very stiff, and I'm, it's a lot of effort, and I'm pounding into the pad. But even here, it's going to have a tendency to kind of want to go that direction. Let's see if I can loosen up just a little bit. Keep the index finger in the grip and see if it'll... a little bit. It's kind of turned a little bit already, so that's kind of interesting. It's just going to do it. So anyway, thought I'd mention that since I noticed it and thought of it. Yeah, so I'm always trying to think of things to tell you and teach you just in case they're not, well, just like that thing. Like, I'm always like, okay, did I get everything? Did I forget something? All right, trying to think what could be next, or usually when I do a little video like this, it's when I feel like I'm about ready to be finished. It's usually it's usually over an hour long, so I'm wondering what is missing. Maybe I just was much more efficient this time. I feel kind of like I finished, but yeah, so just a kind of little recap to get this to work. Just got to make sure that the index finger is not in use. The thumb is centered on the stick, not in either direction. Keep the fingertips on there at all times. Sorry about the sniffle there. Finger control, double stroke roll needs the index finger. Quiet playing needs the index finger. It's the only thing that changes too, because you still want everything else to be there. So, little exercises like you could do like this. Kind of cements the idea of staying loose. So it's the same as this. I'm just there. But if you can do this, then that's good, because it'll make it even easier, I think, to get used to this idea of just staying loose so that the stick is just completely free to move, so that you are minimizing the effort. And you can also do this in addition to this. You can do this. I'm just swiveling the stick in the fulcrum. You can do like that too. And you can also strengthen the middle finger by a little easier to have the hand in this position to do this. That's why I didn't do it here. It's a little weird. I almost lose the stick when I try to demonstrate it this way. It's sort of possible, but anyway, so it's... Oh, wait, I can... Oh, boy. You can also hold the stick like this to isolate the middle finger. That can probably help strengthen it. I don't know. But just as an exercise, don't try to play this way. Well, you could, just to, help make your practice time maybe a little bit more efficient, killing two birds with one stone sort of thing. But don't work on playing this way, or don't let this be a correct grip, so to speak, in your mind. This is just for practice purposes, to maybe it will strengthen the middle finger similarly to what this might do, or this, or I didn't do it that last time because I was trying to think of what else I can show you that might help make the middle finger fulcrum work with greater ease if you're having trouble with it. See. Just trying to think of different things I've seen. So this is an exercise that I learned from Dave Weckel's instructional video called How to Develop Technique. And so is this exercise. Only for some reason he used another stick to hit the stick back. So he used another stick and went like that with it so that it hit the stick backward like that, and then he just did that. I'm like, well, just do that. Just swivel it backward. And then if you can, that helps. Whatever you can do will help. And also, if you kind of developed a lot of muscle memory for certain songs or things you've developed, like fills or different kinds of things you can play, or just anything that's got muscle memory in there, and of the other way that you're holding the stick right now, or sticks, be patient with yourself. It can take time before those things change. If you like this a lot and you want to switch to it, what I'm saying is it might take a while before you no longer have to think about it. That's the way it was for me. When I learned the middle finger fulcrum, I had several years of muscle memory to kind of undo. I had complete drum parts for songs to kind of relearn, using the new way of holding on to the sticks and moving them. A lot of different things I had to sort of relearn. So, yep, it's just the way it is. Part of being a human being, I guess. So, all right. I think I've covered everything. So, yeah, that seems to be it. So, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be very happy to do whatever I can to answer the question. And so, still kind of brainstorming to see if I got everything covered. It really does feel like I got it all. So, yep. So yeah, again, just if you have any questions, let me know, and let me know what you think of it too. Yeah. All right. So, cool, man. Have fun. I'll catch you later.